I know we've said it before, folks, but this time there are just way too many signs that we cannot ignore. Harry and Meghan are done. They're only pretending to still be together for appearance's sake. Now, I understand why. They think it's better for their careers, mostly Meghan's career, and they've also got to figure out a way to deal with the story of the invisible children. But at this point in time, I do believe it is safe to assume that Meghan and Harry are not living together anymore, and they are not romantically involved. The Mirror has run an exclusive on this very issue. The headline is Harry and Meghan spending time apart for the sake of their strained marriage. Well, of course their marriage is strained. For starters, the two of them are vile, nasty people. They're not easy to get along with. And also, since they moved to the US, their careers have tanked. They never really had impressive careers to start with, and at this point, I don't know how they're going to continue to make money. Predictably, they are beginning to turn on each other. And at this point, they can't even keep up the facade that they're still together. That's why we're getting all these reports of them spending time apart. We saw Harry head to Texas without Meghan, and reportedly, Meghan has been spending time in a Beverly Hills hotel. According to relationship expert Luella Alderson, Meghan and Harry could have some time to work on themselves, but she warns that it comes with a risk. Speaking with the Mirror, she said, there is a danger with living apart that one or both partners can become too comfortable with their separate lives and drift further apart. That's why it's crucial for couples to have regular check ins and make sure they are still prioritizing their relationship despite living separately. The first question is, how long really have Meghan and Harry been living separately? Now, I suspect it's been a few months now. Remember, I think it was back in the spring, maybe, definitely summer, that we started hearing these rumors that Harry had been spending time at hotels away from Meghan. I think those rumors were 100% true. I think that's when it started. And I don't believe they have been living together in that ridiculous Olive Garden looking McMansion since then. We don't even know for sure if they ever lived there. According to some reports, the house we saw in the docu-series and the home that we've seen in those interviews is just staged anyway. I do believe, though, what this relationship expert is saying, that if a couple needs to spend some time apart because they've got to work on themselves, they have got to regularly check in with each other if they ever want to get back together. Meghan and Harry, though, are not going to be able to do something like this. That would require a level of selflessness that neither of them possesses. I don't believe Meghan and Harry are capable of true cooperation and compromise. This relationship expert also said living apart can provide much needed space and time for couples to work on themselves individually and reflect on their relationship without the constant presence of their partner. Well, it's a nice idea, isn't it, for normal people? But we're talking about a couple of narcissists. They are not capable of working on themselves individually, especially Meghan. Now, Harry, I don't know. I think the jury's still out on that one. Honestly, I'm not convinced that he's not a narcissist, and I'm not convinced that he is a narcissist. But Meghan, 100%. She is a malignant narcissist. And that means she can't work on herself because she believes herself to already be perfect. She's not going to be able to reflect on her relationship with Harry and see that she is partially the cause of their problems. She'll blame him for absolutely everything, and so there's no chance for them to really move forward. I also suspect that as Meghan gives Harry more breathing room, he's going to come to realize that he is being completely controlled by her. He might even start to spread his wings a little bit without Meghan around to clip them. Ms. Alderson, the relationship expert, went on to say it allows them to have a deeper understanding of themselves and their needs, which can ultimately benefit the relationship in the long run. Living apart for a period of time can also increase intrigue and excitement in a relationship, as it allows for an element of surprise when a couple does come together. Well, again, this is going to be impossible for Meghan and Harry because they are not capable of looking within. They're not capable of developing a deeper understanding of themselves. I know Harry claims he's had all these years of therapy and done all those drugs, so he really knows himself now. No, he doesn't. And as for Meghan, I mean, come on, that woman lives in a fantasy world. Meghan has shown us time and time again that she is not capable of true introspection. I also believe that if Meghan is willing to loosen her grip on Harry, she's already done with him because she knows she's got to be there in his ear telling him what to do all the time, or else he might start to realize that she's not good for him. Luella also says that maybe Harry and Meghan fell into too much of a routine in their relationship, and so their romance, quote, lost some of the initial spark. So she claims that living apart can help reignite that passion and keep things fresh. It is true that in the beginning of their relationship, there was a lot of passion between Meghan and Harry. Unfortunately, we had to see it all the time. At this point, that is not what we see between them. I mean, when we see them together, they look like they absolutely hate each other. I don't think there is any way, though, to get back that initial spark, because that initial spark was based on lies. It was a very superficial kind of lust that was never going to last. Back then, Meghan also believed that Harry was her ticket to fame and fortune that she couldn't achieve on her own. Soon enough, she realized that he didn't have all that much money, and that his connections were not all that good, so she quickly lost interest in him too. And while they're apart, what on earth are Meghan and Harry going to be doing? I've got a good idea what Meghan's going to be up to. She's hunting for a new man. And as for Harry, well, he's probably just happy that he's got some breathing room. Now, Ms. Llewellyn says that it's essential for couples to have an honest talk about their expectations for any time spent apart. She says that it will ensure the relationship stays healthy and strong. She said, quote, both partners need to be on the same page, and their decision to live apart should be fueled by a desire to strengthen their relationship, not avoid dealing with underlying issues. Harry and Meghan could be taking this approach to address any underlying relationship issues and strengthen their bond in the long run. It can be a healthy and mature way to approach any struggles in a marriage. Harry and Meghan have an honest talk. I mean, come on, she must be joking. The two of them are some of the biggest liars on this planet. I don't believe for 1 second they are honest with each other. They're not honest with anybody. They're certainly not honest with themselves, and that's a big part of the problem. And what about the fact that the two of them are so incredibly self-centered? Well, Ms. Llewellyn says every couple's journey is unique, and what works for one may not necessarily work for another. The most important thing is for both individuals to prioritize their well-being and happiness, while also nurturing their relationship in the best way possible. So if living apart helps Harry and Meghan find balance and connection within themselves and as a couple, that could ultimately benefit them in the long run. Again, I believe this relationship expert is giving Meghan and Harry way too much credit. The two of them are not capable of working on themselves. They're not capable of working on their relationship either. What you see is what you get. They are empty inside. They are so incredibly vapid. And I don't see how living apart is going to fix those problems. I do agree with Miss Llewellyn that they've got plenty of underlying issues, but see, they're not willing to work on these underlying issues. It's much easier for them to just blame the royal family and blame everybody else for their problems. They are not willing to look inside and see that it's their hypocrisy, it's their greed, it's their jealousy that turns so many people off. The problems they are experiencing have nothing to do with Harry's family. They have nothing to do with the color of Meghan's skin. They have everything to do with Meghan and Harry's character flaws. Interestingly enough, I also couldn't help but notice this article didn't even mention the invisible children. I mean, what kind of story are they going to come up with to explain away the fact that those two kids just disappeared? Are they just going to stop talking about them and expect everybody to forget that they ever supposedly existed? Well, we're not going to forget. At this point, it's all about self-preservation. So I predict in the not too distant future, we're going to see one of them turn on the other. Who's going to make the first move? Well, I'll leave that up to you to discuss. And what about you? How do you think Meghan and Harry are going to explain away the disappearance of the invisible children? And who is going to turn on whom first? Please let me know your opinion below in the comments section. As always, like and share this video with anybody else who would enjoy it. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe to Kate Middleton and the Queen channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a lovely day, and I'll be back to see you in the next videos.